Hey guys, Heidi Easley here, Texas Art and Soul, and I am here as a guest of Tamara's, and I'm going to teach you how to paint this really cute design of Tamara's Sweet Tea and Sunshine. So as you come on, go ahead and say hello. Let me know how you're doing. Let me know where you're from, and I am excited to spend some time with you today. So here we go. We're going to go ahead and get straight to it. This is the design that we're doing. And I'm going to try to give you all the colors that I'm using. A primary yellow, okay, we're going to use that, as well as an orange twist right here. And then for the tea, I'm going to mix a little bit of burnt sienna to go along with it. So let me know if you have already gotten this template. If you haven't already, I'm sure Tamara has a place for you to grab it, as well as we are sharing this into Paint Party headquarters. So if any of y'all are in the group, my group, if you want to check the description, you can grab it there. So what I'm going to do first is the whole thing comes like this. So it has pieces that come off of it, almost like a puzzle. So what I'm going to do is just kind of pull the pieces off so I can start to get the background painted, okay? So all the little letters are going to come off. I'm going to pull these off here. And then we're going to start to get this tea picture painted as well as the sun. So I'm really excited about this design. I'm so excited to teach this. Okay, so here's our sweet tea. And if you're doing this, you know, I teach paint parties and I teach people how to do paint parties. So if you're doing this as a paint party, you want to make sure that people don't lose or break pieces of this, okay? So whenever you have the sunshine, you want to make sure they don't lose or break it. So in a paint party environment, I would probably have this like in a Ziploc bag for the pieces, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and move the flowers as well. All right. Okay, so what I'm going to do first is grab a 1-inch brush and just some of the yellow. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to just kind of mimic this exact design here. So I'm going to put that right there so I can look at it. So I'm going to use this primary yellow and just start painting the sun, kind of the sun rays. So as y'all come on, go ahead and say hello. Let me know if you have painted this yet or if you're excited about painting this. I think it's going to turn out really cute. So I'm going to grab this yellow and just start to pull this forward. I just want to have a really bright yellow here for the sun rays. And if you're watching this on replay or you're watching it live, I highly recommend, oh, thank you, Megan. I'm so excited about it. I highly recommend cranking up some music. If I tell my Alexa to do that right now, she will start playing. So I'm not going to tell her, but if you're at home and you're watching this, or you're painting it with me, crank up some good music. That's some of my favorite things to do when I paint is just crank up the music and have some fun while you're painting it. Okay, so this right here, I'm bringing these over and I'm going to show you a little trick. And a lot of you probably already know this when you're dealing with things that are laser cut. You can go right on top of this. Because we're going to cover these words, you can go right on top of this. Oh, good, Kathy. You cut it out this morning and you're going to go ahead and paint it with me. Oh, I'm so excited. Okay, great. We got a painter painting live with me. I love it. Okay, so I'm just going to grab it and pull. And then right here's the little greenery. We don't have the greenery, so if you want to go around that part. So anytime you have laser cut, just make sure that you're careful on the parts that you can go on top of like that versus the parts like the green. And y'all know how it is with painting. Once it dries, you can go right on top of it anyway, so it's not the end of the world if you accidentally, like if I accidentally go over that a little bit, it's not the end of the world because I can bring green right on top of that. So it's not really that big of a deal anyway. So I'm just going to grab this, bring it over, and then I'm going to go ahead and color the lemons as well. So I'm going to do the top one up here and then just go ahead and get these lemons covered. And I'm going to add just a hint of white. Just barely drab just a little bit of white with that to the lemons. And just go right on top of that while I have it. Yeah, me and Tamara just got back from a business trip together. So we had some fun time. We learned a lot, and then we got to basically have kind of like a slumber party, and we were watching. Is it called Joe Black? I think Meet Joe Black. That was the name. We kept struggling with the name of that movie. It was so funny. So we started watching that one night, and I think it was around midnight, and I was like, I can't stay up any longer. And I love Brad Pitt. For those of y'all that don't know me yet, it's so funny. I make a joke with my husband because I read Us Weekly, and I'm always like, somebody has to keep up with Brad Pitt and all the things that are happening. So I have, put that duty onto myself. So it was funny that we were watching that, and we were like an hour in. That movie's 3 hours long, and I was like, I gotta go to bed. And so we are like, we'll finish it later. But man, I was like, I can't believe how long that movie is. But it was so good, the parts we saw. Okay, so I'm gonna grab this. I'm not gonna get it wet or anything. I'm just gonna go back to that yellow. And then because we wanted to kind of have a blend, I'm actually going to use an orange twist. Okay, so an orange twist color. And I'm going to bring in these yellows right around the T. Again, I'm going right on top of those letters. All right, so I'm just bringing it in. Still the 1-inch brush. Grabbing that same yellow, and then I'm going to show you kind of how to blend it. And some of y'all, if you're used to just painting solid colors, that's fine. If you want to do the blending part of it, you can. You don't have to. It looks good both ways. But I always love, like, if you can bring in a little bit of a different color. So this orange twist. And look at how it's almost like I'm washing it. I'm just kind of washing it in there. Okay. And then you can take a little figure 8 technique and then blend those colors. So then I'll give it kind of that ombre look. So if you want it to be a little bit more pronounced, you could do a little bit of a darker orange. This is an orange twist, so it's pretty subtle. And then just kind of figure 8 that to bring it over. So then you kind of have a little blending along in there. Okay? All right, so now I want to get the T part in here. I did need blue. I have some blue right here. I'm going to use that in just a minute. Sorry about that. Okay, I'm going to put that over there just to make sure I have all the colors I can show y'all. Okay, so this is a burnt sienna. So you can probably find a color at Michael's or Hobby Lobby that's closer, but I just like to grab what I have in my art studio. So I'm just going to use the burnt sienna. I'm not washing my brush. I'm going to use the burnt sienna. And I'm just going to use some of those same colors I've already used for the sun. So I'm just grabbing some of the burnt sienna. And I just want to go in here and bring it right on top of this. Because remember, y'all, it's not that big of a deal because we're going to be able to put all those letters right back on top. So after I paint those, they'll cover anything that we went over. So I'm just going to bring these in and grab some of the burnt sienna and bring it in. And because we have these flowers, it's not that big of a deal if I accidentally go over the flowers here. That's really the great thing about the laser cutting when it goes on top, because you can make a lot of mistakes. It's not really that big of a deal. Hey, Cindy. Hey, guys. Go ahead and say hi as you come on. I'd love to hear that. Oh, and look what I did. So I painted those lemons, and they didn't even need painted. I forgot I had my 2 lemons here. So I can go back and paint those here in a second. Okay, so let me go ahead and get the tea on. So I'm going to just paint in some sweet tea. How many of y'all drink sweet tea? I love some sweet tea. Oh my gosh. So good. Bobby's grandma, she passed away, unfortunately, a couple of years ago. She lived a really long life, but she used to have, when we go to her house and she would have sweet tea, it was like drinking, like you opened a bag of sugar and you literally just drank the bag of sugar. That's how thick she would make it. It was so good. It was like having almost like a piece of cake as your drink. So you'd be eating like this great homemade food, and then you would be drinking basically a piece of cake. It was so yummy. I'd be like, yeah, I need to get some more tea. Okay, let's get some tea to go. Let's do all of that. Okay, so I'm adding in a little bit of that yellow and that orange twist. And then I just want to blend it and get all of this going and add it in here. And I just saw a text come through on my phone. I'm pretty sure my daughter just got a second ear piercing. She's with her friends and they're shopping today. And it looked like she was doing this in the text. It just kind of like popped down for a second. I think she did a second piercing today. I know we've kind of been talking about it. But I'm pretty sure that's what that text was. I'll have to look whenever I get done with this. Okay, so I'm just grabbing some of this and bringing it in. And if it doesn't, you know how sometimes on the wood, it starts to suck the paint? If you take a little dab of water, not a lot, but put it on there, it'll start to make it flow a little bit better. So since we're covering up these flowers, I'm just going to go right on top of those, not really worried. The only thing I'm really going to worry about down here is this lemon. So I'm just going to bring this over because I'm going to cover that anyway. Those are going to be covered. So I'm just going to bring that over and kind of cover it. Okay, and then these down here are going to be greenish down here on the bottom. So we don't want to do too much there. All right, so now we're just going to blend this. Just kind of blend it. So dip your brush in the water just a tad, and then you just go like this. And yes, I can still see the etching. So let me blend this and then I'll bring it real close to the camera. And that's kind of the cool part about the etching when you have like the laser like this, is because you can still see it through. Okay, and then maybe we want to make a little bit lighter, so I'm going to use some of that orange twist and just bring a little bit of a lighter tint of the sweet tea over on the left. So I'm going to bring that in here. Like that. Okay, and so when you look closer, especially when you're in person, you can see the etching line still. So I can just put things right on top of where I want it. Okay, all right, so now I'm going to rinse my brush. This is the first time I've rinsed my brush the whole time, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and rinse my brush, dry it, and then I'm going to grab a little bit of that blue. So the blue I chose to use, again, you can use any blue you want, is a Calypso blue with a little bit of white. So I'm going to grab this Calypso blue with a little bit of white. And this is just going to make it look like it's the glass jar, okay? Or the pitcher for the tea. So I'm just grabbing that blue, and then I'm going to just dab in some white so it can go in there to kind of have that glass look. So if you have, again, I'm painting right over the laser. If you have too much blue and you want it to be less, just add a little bit more white and go right into it. And then you can go right on top of here as well. Okay, so a little bit of blue, a little bit of white. And for those of y'all that are in Painters Clubhouse, again, my name is Heidi, and I teach people how to make money teaching paint parties. And Tamara is a good friend of mine. I love her dearly, and she's having me teach this to y'all. And then also, for those of y'all in Paint Party Headquarters that are watching this, Tamara so graciously said that you can use this design for your paint parties. So that's pretty cool too. She is a sweet, sweet girl. Okay, so I'm going to grab this and just keep pulling it over. And then bring this down. Okay, and then the same thing with the pitcher. Just kind of grab that 1-inch brush. Make sure you have a little bit of blue, a little bit of white, and just bring it over. And then if you'll let me know in the comments, I know Paint Party Headquarters, y'all are all doing paint parties, but for those of y'all in Painters Clubhouse, if you're just doing these as door hangers, but you're starting to do them as paint parties, if you're having some fun. Oh my gosh, I know a lot of places are starting to do their summer paint parties, their summer events, and just having a really, really great time getting together. Okay, so I'm going to turn this on its side and just bring it down. And one thing to remember as you're teaching a paint party and as you are being a painter is to remember that never, ever, ever judge your paintings until the very, very, very end. You know, some of y'all are brand new at painting and you're just starting to get, you know, crafty and all of that stuff. Some of you have been doing this a long time, and so you've, you know, had thousands of hours under your belt. So and I'm just adding a little bit of white to kind of just make it a little bit streaky in here. And some of y'all are, you know, more experienced. Some of you are brand new to this. But what I want you to remember is like painting is really a skill that can be developed. You know, it's, for example, I love singing. I sing all the time, but I should not be singing in front of other people, right? Like, you know, I'm sure I can learn and get a little better at it if I had the right vocal coach and spent a lot of time, but it wasn't like, you know, naturally that kind of happens. But painting is one of those skills where the more you practice, the better you're going to get. So if you're doing your first painting or your 12th painting or now your 100th painting, you will get better and better at it. So every time you practice, just remember, you know, I look back at stuff I painted 10 years ago or 15 years ago, or even when I first started painting, I was 15. And I look back at the things I painted then and I'm like, oh my gosh, I should have shaded that or added more or whatever. But I just love the fact that, you know, I think about like, oh my gosh, when I'm 80, think of how good we're going to be if we keep practicing. And same thing with you. Like if you just keep practicing and keep learning, think of how great you're going to be at doing this. And I'm just adding just some hints of white, just some little more definition of white in here. Kind of just getting some placement. Just so it's a little bit more stands out a little bit more. Okay, let's go ahead and rinse that brush. And I'm going to grab, oh, hello. Thank y'all for saying hi. Can I ask what laser etching machine you used? So this one, I believe, I'm not sure. Tamara, if you're watching this, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think she cut this out with a glow forge. So I know Tamara has a link for a glow forge. And then if you're in Paint Party headquarters, let me know and I'll give you the link for my glow forge link. But yeah, I'm pretty sure she did this in glow forge. So if I'm wrong on that, Tamara, please correct me. And then I know we both have a link where you can get $500 off your glow forge. So Tamara, I'm sure, has that link in here. And then if anybody in Paint Party headquarters needs it, let me know and I'll get it to you. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and paint the yellow lemons. I'm going to dip it a little white and then just kind of go over that, but with more white than yellow, because I want this to be a little bit of a lighter color than the sunshine. Okay. So we're going to just get that base on there. And this is all going to start coming together here pretty quickly because of the way this laser did this, which is going to be cool. And this is another reason why I love this kind of stuff at paint parties, because your guests get really, really great success off of something like this, because it's really, it's a paint by number, right? It's a paint by number. Yes, Megan, it's definitely, yeah. So there's, it's in the Southern Adornments shop. And then all of y'all in Paint Party headquarters, I have a link for you to get it from Tamara's Southern Adornments shop. So you can grab it. Okay, so we're going to do the same yellowish color in the center. So I'm just going to grab a round, like a 6 or an 8 round brush. And I'm going to use the yellow with a little bit of white. And just get that placed in the center of the flower. Okay. So just a few little yellow hints in those centers. Same thing on this one. And then before we put the white, we're going to let this dry. And while that's drying, before I do my green too, I'm actually going to go ahead and stamp on some black on top of all of this. You can paint this with a paintbrush and it's totally fine too. Sometimes I find just a stamper, like I'll just take some black and then I'll dab most of it off. So I'll take the black, dab most of it off. Once I dab most of it off, then all I do is just grab it and stamp it on. So you can use a brush to paint it, or you can get a little workout and stamp it. So again, I'm dabbing with the black, I'm dabbing most of it off, and then I'm going straight to the letters. So I just kind of hold the letters. And it's actually very therapeutic. I can just kind of go for it. It's very, very therapeutic. Yay. So this is, if you are doing this at a paint party, you want to be careful that everybody's on the same step, because if somebody's trying to get like their lines really great and then somebody on the side of the table is doing this, it's going to be very distracting for them. They're not going to be super happy about that, because it's going to have a lot of movement on that table. But if you're doing this at home and you're selling them on Etsy, or you're selling them locally, you could just crank up the music and go for it. I love this design so much. It's so, so cute. Okay, so I'm just adding, dabbing, adding and dabbing and something, oh my. Adding, dabbing, stenciling, oh my. I don't know what that third one should be, but. Okay. Oh, that is so satisfying. I don't know why. I love that. Okay. All right, so now I'm just going to put this aside because I'm not going to be using the dabber anymore. So I'm going to put this aside in the water. And then I want to go ahead and grab another round brush, and I'm going to grab the green. Okay, so I'm just using a Kelly green. You can use whatever green that you like the best. A Kelly green. And what I want to do is just right here where these flowers are, this is like a green leaf. So I'm just bringing this in and just placing the green on here. And again, for all of y'all in Painters Clubhouse, Tamara has this blank for you. Anybody that's watching this from Paint Party Headquarters, in the description, you can click the link and buy this blank if you want to paint it as well. So there's a link in there for you. So just grab this and just pull this down, and we're going to have this really pretty green that matches so well with all of these other colors. That just gives you like a fun summer feel. So we're just going to bring these in. And thank y'all for saying hi as you come on. I love seeing y'all's comments. Okay, so we're just bringing this in. Oh, hey, Tamara. Yep, Tamara's on here. Great. Marina says, great design. Thanks for the video while painting the surfboards this weekend. Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, we all got on there, didn't we? Me and Tamara and Christy and Damon and Parker all jumped on there. That was so fun. Yeah, Tamara says, oh, yes, I was right. Okay, good. She says, I cut this one on my Glowforge and sent it to Heidi, but you can get it from our shop. Awesome. Hey, Nancy from Texas as well. We are finally getting some beautiful sunny weather. Oh my gosh. You know, in Texas, it went from rain to, 150 degrees, but that's how I like it. I like some hot weather. Okay, so I got that on there. And then she has a little bit of this as the green too. And again, like I said, if you go over it a little bit, it's not that big of a deal because we're going to be putting those flowers. So you don't have to stress so much about having it perfect. Okay, same thing in here, these little green things. We just want to be careful of where the T is. All right, so I'm going to rinse this brush, and then I'm going to add some yellow in for that lemon. Oh, thanks, Marty. And then we have Nancy. She says, it looks like I could drink it. I know. Earlier, for those of y'all that are just now joining, I was talking about my husband's grandma. She passed away, but she she had the best sweet tea, and it was like you took a bag of sugar and just dumped it out and drank it. It was so, so good. So it was almost like you're eating your meal, but you're having a almost like a cake for your drink, because it was just like so sweet. So I used to always, when we'd go over there for, you know, Thanksgiving or whatever holiday it was, I would make sure I had probably 2 to 3 glasses of that sweet tea, because it was so delicious. Definitely probably needed to go to a dental appointment as soon as I left, but that's beside the point. Just, yeah, it was fine. It was so good. Okay, so I have a little bit of green on my brush, and so sometimes I get lazy and I just wipe my brush off on a paper towel, and then I just keep going. I know some, especially those of y'all that teach paint parties, you'll have that guest that like feels like they have to have a clean water cup. Anybody else have a guest like that has to have a feels like they need a clean water cup for every time they rinse their brush? And then you'll have me, who I'll have this water for like 3 weeks, and it's probably not good for anybody. But I'll just like rinse it and keep it in black water, and I don't really care too much. I just kind of wipe it off and go. But yeah, so you want to just make sure, the way I teach people, especially at a paint party, kind of get all the things you can do without having them to rinse their brush first. For a while, that sometimes seems to help with some of that. All right, Nancy says, I traced mine on a round, no 3D today. Oh, I bet it's still going to be really pretty. I can't wait to see it. Hello, guys. Good afternoon. Okay, so we have that. Now I'm going to go ahead and move and paint the flowers white. So you can use a bigger brush. You can use this round brush again. I'm just going to place that on there. Another thing, let me just see how this works. If I use another stenciler, remember, dabbing onto this, then dabbing most of it off. For those of y'all that are new to stenciling, you're trying to get most of it off. Sometimes you can dab most of it off, like on a table or whatever, or a tablecloth. I can actually make it happen faster and then just repaint where my circle was. Plus, this is very therapeutic. Oh, Indiana. Good to see you. I'm glad you're here. So yeah, I like doing this because it's very therapeutic. So these are just stencil brushes you can get anywhere, Walmart, Amazon, wherever. It's almost like some therapy, like you need to get some stuff out. Need to get some stuff out of your system. That would be the way to do it. Stencil brush. I know I use Art to Heal, and this is one of those ways where you could just, it's like something about creating and making, getting your hands all messy. Yay. That was fun. Okay. All right, so now I'm going to grab my little flowers and almost put them together like a puzzle piece. So this one goes here. And you can use like an E6000 to glue these down. So, you know, Tamara, she does a lot of door hangers. So I was asking her before this, I said, hey, what do you want me to recommend? Hot glue or E6000? And she said, well, don't do the hot glue, because with the hot glue, especially when you're having a door hanger, it will react like, you know, it'll melt it, and then the pieces will come off. So for those of y'all that, you know, change out your door hangers and stuff like that, make sure that you're using like that E6000 or a wood glue or something that's not going to get too hot and then come back off. Okay, let me let that dry for a second while I show you what to do with the lemons, okay? So now I'm going to switch to a liner brush. This is just a really, really thin liner brush, and I'm going to go to some white paint, and all I'm going to do is just in the white paint, I just want to grab those lines where the lemon is. And again, you can see all of this because of the way it's cut. All the lines are there. I don't have to think about it. I don't have to figure out where they are to find them. I just go right on top of where they are. And then we're going to start adding some stuff to make it all start to come together. Okay. So you can add a little around it if you want. All right, and then I'll just place this here like a fun little puzzle piece. Same thing here. I'm just going to bring it in. Okay, and then bring a little line and then fit that puzzle piece in. Okay, so before I put my sweet tea and sunshine, I just want to get some fun, whimsical lines on it. So I'm going to use, you can use in between the liner brush, or a lot of times I like to go back to my 1-inch brush. And let me show you why. So if I wipe off most of this, because I just don't want to rinse it because I have some black paint in there, I'm going to grab this white and just go back and forth like this so it's loaded, okay? So it's loaded, but it's really thin. And then all I want to do is just kind of make some fun lines like that. So just grab it, pull it, and then just kind of add in some fun lines. Again, you don't have to do this. This is totally optional. But I love adding in some just extra fun. I know Tamara loves doing that as well. Just kind of sprucing some things up where you just add some fun little extra lines. So it's totally optional. You don't have to do it, but a lot of times it just kind of makes your paintings pop. It just makes everything kind of pop. So just grab and pull. And remember, this is going to go over, so it's okay if it's on top of there. So you can start to see how things are starting to come together, starting to pop, and starting to show off some of those colors. And you can do a little bit on top if you want, even to make it a little bit even extra. You could just blob on there like that. Nothing major. Okay, so we have that on there. I'm going to go ahead and take this round brush again. Oh, thank you, Ray. Yeah, this is Tamara Bennett's design. So those of y'all watching from Painters Clubhouse, you know her very well. Those of y'all in Paint Party headquarters, Tamara is a very good friend of mine, and she owns Southern Adornments Decor, and she is allowing me to share this design into Paint Party headquarters so that y'all can use it for your paint parties. So if you have some fun summer paint parties, she has so graciously said you can use this design. So thank you so much for that, Tamara, and for letting me be a guest with your people. I'm so excited to paint with y'all today. Okay, so I'm just adding that yellow back into the middle. All right, and now what we want to do is just kind of place our letters. So again, you're going to use like an E6000 on your letters, but I want you to start seeing how this starts to pop. Okay, so everything will start to come together. So this is why it's really, really important, especially if you're in you're doing these as commissions or you're brand new to this, to remember that things really do start to come together at the end. So as you're starting to place stuff, you got to give yourself grace, because a lot of times people are judging their paintings at the very beginning. But as you start to get more comfortable with painting and do more and more of these, and if you're teaching this to paint party people who are brand new, you have to show them like, hey, you can't judge it till the end. So I always say at the very beginning of my paint parties, I say, raise your right hand and repeat after me. And I'll say, you know, something, I'll say something silly, but something to the effect of, I promise not to judge my art or my neighbor's art, you know, and everybody kind of looks at each other and starts laughing until the very, very, very end, like that. And then it's kind of funny because it's like I'm telling them, okay, you can judge them at the end, but you can't judge them until the very end. And so it just kind of makes everybody laugh and reminds them that it's not supposed to look good at the beginning when you're putting base coats. That's not how painting works. Oh, I think this one goes down here. I got an E mixed up. See, because I can see it. I know some of y'all were asking that earlier. If you could see it, yes, because I can see it, I know those E's were cut a little bit different. Oh my gosh, this design is so stinking cute. I haven't glued it yet. Hold on. I haven't glued it yet. Mine moved. Mine is in movement mode still because I have not glued it. Dang it. I was trying to pick it up. I was trying to move it over a little bit. Okay, so make sure you either do a quick blow dryer or glue it for real, because I just moved mine and messed up a little bit of my white. But again, not the end of the world because I can take this, move it around, and still do it. Okay, so here you go. And then the last thing, if you want to do, and I'll show you just a quick little thing, and we're going to add a little bit of black and white details. So I'm going to show you how to do that too. Pam says, look like y'all had so much fun on your trip. Thanks for sharing the fun with us. Oh, you're so welcome. Marina says a 1/2-inch circle flatwood beads would look great in the center of the flowers. Oh, that would be really cute, Marina. I love that idea. Tamara says I have some glue called Stick Fast that works great too for glue on 3D projects. Oh, that's awesome. Tamara, do you sell that in your shop? That would be really fun to have. And Melissa says, yeah, I need lemonade and sunshine. Yeah, I think we all do. It was a long winter, wasn't it? Okay, so what you can do is you can grab your liner brush again, and then on the black letters, just kind of randomly start putting some lines on here. So this is going to make your whole like sweet tea and lemonade stuff start to pop. So I usually, when I'm doing this, I usually like grab my my liner brush, and then as you can see, I use my pinky as the anchor. So I have my pinky kind of as the anchor, and then just kind of grab it. So you can see I kind of place it, and how all of this starts to pop when you just do a few little lines. And then I'll show you how to do the black lines too. And look how I did that tea, how it's like a little messed up. I could just add and cover that with black. It's not a big deal. So if you make a little mistake, again, I never worry about that because paint is so easy to go right on top of. So just grabbing this, adding a few little fun lines. And then I'll show you where to add the black lines. And then for any of y'all who've never painted with glitter, I do this on almost every painting. This is my favorite choice. I'm sure some of y'all, if you want to add your favorite choice in the comments, but crystal seems to be the best one I found, especially for paint parties, because I used to bring all different color glitters, and then especially if they're new to painting with glitter or new to painting, they didn't really know how to use it as well. And so they'd take this beautiful painting and then I hate to say the word, they would mess up the painting with that glitter that they used, but they would not really know how to use it. And the color glitter, sometimes like if they had a red Santa Claus hat, for example, and they put this red glitter, it didn't mesh up as well. But this is pretty much foolproof. They could paint their entire painting on top with this, which I have had people do, and it still looks beautiful. It just makes it shiny. Okay, so now I'm going to grab a little bit of black, and I'll show you kind of how to add some black details, and then I think we'll be done. Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, always put the like lines and the highlight lines on there. So it's kind of the same thing here. You can add some black lines. You could use that bigger brush, which I might go to that bigger brush. So I'm going to wipe this off so I can go to the bigger brush, the 1-inch flat. I'm going to grab and pull, so it's really good. And then, and look at how much faster, and I have more control over this too. So just adding a few little lines, and you just kind of have some more control. And then you can do the same thing in here with the lemons. I'm just going to the right of the little white line. And then the same thing in here. You can just kind of add in some lines if you want. Some little whimsical lines. Same thing with the lemon. And in here you can add some stuff. Nothing major, just a few little lines here and there. A little bit of that. I just want to keep painting this because it's so fun. So fun! Okay, all right, so I have my lines there. Okay, and then I might have to do this with the liner on this one. You can do the same thing with the flowers too, but you're just taking a little bit and just almost like you're outlining it, but it doesn't have to be perfect. So again, I'm just kind of going in, making the circle. And I really need some of Tamara's glue right now, because I keep pushing my stuff around. And maybe get it glued down before you add all of the extra. Yeah, that was the 1-inch flat. This is pretty much this brush and this brush are like my lifesavers. So a 2-inch chip brush, as you can see, I use them like crazy. And then a 1-inch flat brush is my next most used brush. So I would say the 1-inch flat brush is my most used. And then I would say this is my second used. And then I would say it's the liner. Those are like my favorite brushes to use. Okay, so then you can go in here and again, just adding in these little details. And you can make it as whimsical as you want or as detailed as you want. I know Tamara is a lot like me, where we love a good whimsical painting. It's just fun. To me, it's like fun to paint, purple elephants and different colors. Instead of just a traditional green tree, but making it fun. Like I love just having some excitement and some like whimsy to it. So you can just kind of add in some lines here. And then after you're all the way done with it, let it dry. And then you can go crazy with the glitter if you want. So going crazy with the glitter, and then you are good to go. So put some E6000 on this or whatever glue. If you want to check out that glue Tamara's recommended, she has it linked in her Amazon favorite. And then the last little tip I want to give you before I go, if you have any mistakes, like where this moved and it moved the white, I can just grab this yellow and almost, have you ever played that game Operation? I can, and what's the noise it makes, right? It's like, if you hit the wrong area. So I can just grab this and pretend like I'm playing Operation and just kind of clean it up. So if you're doing these as like a one-off, where you're selling it. So maybe you post this and you sell it for somebody for, $45 or whatever your price is. Then if you have little mistakes like that, you can easily grab and just kind of clean it up. So I could grab that orange color and just kind of bring it together like that. Okay, let me know what you think. I love this design. It is so, so cute. So I know Tamara has these in her store, so if you want to grab them. And thank you so much, Tamara, for letting me be a part of your group and teaching this really, really fun design to you. This was so much fun. I love it so much. You did a great job on the design, and I'm just happy to be able to paint it for y'all. So I hope this was helpful, and I hope you enjoyed it. All right, y'all. Y'all have a great day.